So Blue Protocol has been out for a while now at this point, and after putting a fair amount of hours into the game, I thought I would share today what I think of the game so far, what they could change going forward, and just my general rating on the game as a whole at the end. If you enjoy videos like these, consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe, it really helps out. Yeah, with all that said, let's just jump right into the video. To start things off and to also make things simple, we're going to be going through a list of key points as we discuss and talk about the game. Let's start off with combat and movement. Diving into Blue Protocol's combat and movement system, you'll find that the game itself isn't that hard to play. The only real difficulty is understanding how each playable class works and how to play each of them efficiently. In the case that the game starts to become a bit too tedious, which it will, they've implemented an auto combat feature allowing you to sit back and watch your character play the game for you. The movement feels good and very responsive. The many different ways you can traverse the open world is a nice touch, from mounts to wall running, jumping, gliding, swimming, and even flying. Moving on to the story, I'm just gonna be real and say if you're playing an MMO for the story, then you obviously picked the wrong genre. The story is not terrible, but it's pretty much what you'd expect from an MMO. Main character doesn't talk, main character has power to save the world, yada yada yada. Next up on the list is character leveling and progression. Character leveling in this game isn't too bad. You can get to level 50 plus just from completing all the main story quests. The remaining levels, however, have to be earned through either side quest or daily quest. Yes, just like a gacha game, this game has daily quests. Completing them gives you a lot of XP and different consumables. As for armor and gear, those can be farmed through either world bosses or dungeons. Not sure which one of them is more efficient in terms of drop rate, but from my experience alone, it seems you're better off just doing dungeons. If you're a beater, or think you're Sung Jin Woo, or just have no friends to play with, you may not have a good time with this game. Most of the world bosses cannot be efficiently solo farmed, and while solo in dungeons is possible, it's also at times not very efficient. Once you play the game enough, you can start purchasing epic armor from the gear store if you can't or don't want to farm them yourself. Alright, next key point is dungeon and world bosses. So far, nothing seems out of the ordinary when it comes to the world bosses. It's pretty much the same thing as any other MMO. Damage sponge bosses that can potentially one-shot you if you're not high enough level, or high enough equipped, or under-equipped I should say. I guess the only real difference is that the bosses have a chance to drop imagines which you can then use to become them and use their power, sort of like Wuwa or Wuthering Waves if you've ever played that. As for dungeons, I think this is where the game starts to become a little bit more fun. Normal dungeons have up to 5 players make their way to a certain amount of enemies, with a boss fight waiting at the end. These bosses hit pretty hard and usually have mechanics that can one-shot and sometimes even team wipe. So it's best to play with people who have communication, that know mechanics, or just simply, have a brain. Raids are pretty much the same thing, the only difference being that they can be up to 10 to 20 players, and the rewards for each fight are capped weekly, so you can only get rewards once for each fight every week. Moving on to aesthetics and visuals, I would be lying if I said the game looked like ass because, the visuals are actually one of the big reasons as to why I actually started playing or actually gave the game a try. The environment, character models, special effects, and animations all look very, very nice. Photo mode is a big thing in this game also. That was actually one of their biggest marketing points when advertising the game. Not only can you take photos in real time, but they've also given you a couple of different ways in which you can do so. For example, the selfie mode. Character customizations are also another big thing, another one of their marketing points. Probably one of the best character creators I've seen in an anime MMO, honestly. There's a lot of variety from hair color to face and body shape. Alright, next up is music and audio design. From what I could hear, audio design seems spot on. The audio cues for some of the boss mechanics and boss attacks are what really stood out for me. Next is the soundtrack. Believe it or not, it's actually really good. For reference, when you're running around the city, you get a little bit of Then let's say you decide to go fight the Tina boss fight so you can get a little bit of After that, you decide to go chill over in Dust Eye Woods to hear a little bit of and to finish it off, you go into the Stemmen Vault to fight a boss, just so you can hear To sum things up, I think both audio design and the soundtrack for this game deserves a massive thumbs up. Alright, we're nearing the end, so I'm gonna wrap up everything. I'm gonna throw everything into this category. These are the problems that I think the game has and what they could do to fix them. The major problems I think this game is currently facing are, for one, the drop rates. They're really bad, like really bad. Imagine fighting a world boss for 20 minutes and not getting a single drop. While character leveling isn't too bad, character building, on the other hand, is a whole other story. Specifically, the gear building side of things. Acquiring proper gear takes an absurd amount of time. Not only do you have to get lucky with the rarity, but you also have to get lucky with the stats that the gear comes with. Sometimes even getting gear and stats that don't even benefit the class you're currently playing. Gear is not the only problem. The grind for the legendary Imagines is also pretty stupid. First, you have to get the thing to drop from a world boss, so that's the first step. Mind you, there's a limit on the amount of drops you can obtain daily. Then you have to grind again for the materials to craft it. Another major problem I have with this game is that, say for some reason you stop playing the game, when you come back to the game, guess what? You're now behind. That dungeon that everybody was queuing for, and that world boss that everybody was fighting, well, they're not doing them anymore. Which means, unless you have friends or a guild on the game, catching up to new content quickly becomes a pain in the ass. I also just want to say, before you start White Knighting, I am aware that Blue Protocol isn't the only game that's guilty of this. I'm not calling out Blue Protocol alone for this. A lot of MMOs have this problem. Dungeons can get tiring and frustrating depending on your matchmaking luck. Getting teammates that don't know how to play the game, how to play their role, or just simply cannot read English text can really kill your drive when you're farming for gear. I think they should implement a system that guarantees you one piece of high quality gear if you defeat a world boss or run a dungeon a certain amount of time. I think there should also be random special events and boss encounters in the open world. Lower the materials required to craft certain Imagines. Not everybody has the time or the people to do world bosses or Stemmen Vaults. Basically, Stemmen Vaults are like, I guess you could say, they're like a separate dungeon, but instead of gear, you farm for the materials to make the Imagines. So every floor you get a certain amount of materials to make the Imagines. Obviously, you can solo it to a certain degree, but if you want to maximize rewards, you're going to have to make a team before you queue up. And sometimes that can take a while, and also sometimes that can also be kind of annoying because not everybody wants to join the guy that's under level and carry them. So yeah. Finally, implement a better system that helps new and returning players catch up to the latest content in the game. I don't really want to rant for too long, but I believe I covered the majority of everything. If I missed anything, however, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. In conclusion, I really wish this game, Blue Protocol Star Residence, was what we were looking for when it comes to the next big anime MMO, but sadly, it's not. This is my opinion, however, so yeah, don't let my words stop you from actually trying the game for yourself. Once again, with all that said, I would give Blue Protocol Star Resonance a final rating of 5.1. Not a bad game, not a good game, but you know, it is alright. Yeah, that was my review for Blue Protocol. I'm not really a review channel, but you know, I'm just, you know, I'm branching out, I'm trying different things. But yeah, if you guys want to see more videos like these, leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It really helps out. And yeah, I'll get back to you guys eventually. Have a good one, and peace.